All right, let's talk trades. There were 7 trades made after last week's show. Some big ones. I don't know what happened, but it's like Corey woke up one day and just like, fuck, I hate my team. I need to make some changes here. And then he did. He made some big changes. So we're gonna start talking about these trades. But he's not involved in this first one. He had the bigger trades, but we have Homer Simpson here, Travis, trading Matt Duchene, finally getting rid of him. He's been on the market forever. He sent him with an 11th over to Clefbaum for Hartman and a 7th. What do you think of this trade?
I think that's a fairly fair trade on both ends. Duchene definitely put up a lot of points last year, surprised a lot of people. I know how I feel about Hartman. Hartman's one of those, multi-tool players, plays on the top 2 lines, usually the top line for many. So yeah, it was a good trade for both. I know Trav was looking forward to moving Duchene, so he got a little bit of value there, and I think I think it was a fairly fair trade.
I think he got a lot of value because I think that 7th in there goes underrated. He got Hartman and a 7th for a guy who's over the years been mostly inconsistent. Last year had a great year. I know if he can repeat that, maybe, but Hartman has, like you said, has a lot of value. So to give up a 7th and the better player for Duchene, I think I would have felt better if it was like a little bit later of a pick. But it doesn't matter what I think. Was he comfortable with that return? Clearly he was. He's banking on Duchene getting another 40-goal season, right? So
are you thinking an 8th?
I probably would have did it. Even, I don't know. I find that's probably like an even player wise. Like I probably would have liked like a 1-pick exchange personally. But it's again, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I think 4-pick difference isn't too bad.
It's not terrible.
No. I think if it was an 8th or lower, then that pick coming back would have been a lot lower, right? So I think both guys got good value, but yeah, like now that you kind of mention it, Trav did well in that trade. He definitely got value. So. Yeah, absolutely. And
I can say that without saying that Kyle did bad in that trade. Kyle didn't do bad on that trade.
No, and especially if Duchene replicates the year he had last year, if he does that, then that's a fairly even trade at the end of the day. I think it's contingent on how Hartman does, right? And the thing is he already got flipped, right?
Yeah, so, he's not even there anymore.
So now we're gonna have to follow, what he got flipped for. Yeah, exactly, right? And see what kind of value he got out of that end of the day. But you do have a point, but at the same time, if Duchene goes off like he did last year, I would say it's fairly even.
Goals are the hardest thing to come by, and if he puts up goals for him, then what were you going to use the 7th for other than that? It was just going to get you some goals somewhere. So
no, great player. Hope Nashville can turn it around.
I'm not convinced on them. They had a good year last year, but I don't remember the last time before that they had a good year. So,
they do have Saros in net. Like he's a good goalie.
He came out last year. He was huge last year.
Absolutely.
If he can get some support, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
The whole shaft here busy. Nick said, "Hey, I need goaltending help if I'm going to compete with Team Ramrod's fucking stud goalies." So he went out and he picked up Bobrovsky from Cherry Pickin' Daddy. I didn't even think Bobrovsky was even going to be movable by Kyle, but he wants everything gone. So Bobrovsky, a 14th and an 18th went to Nick. The other way, he moved Ryan Reeves, who was like a waiver wire pickup earlier in the week, a 6th and a 9th. So what do you think of this one?
He got great value out of that trade. Bobrovsky for a 6th, 9th, and Reeves. Reeves gets you hits. Usually he's a waiver wire player, so he was the throwaway. A 6th and a 9th for Bob. It's tough because you have Knight that's down in Florida. They're going to be paying him $4.5 million next year. The feeling is he is going to be the incumbent, but this year, Bobrovsky's the #1 starter there. He's the definitive starter. So a goalie of that caliber going for a 6th and a 9th, I think is cheap.
Yeah.
Considering what the prices were last year for goalies, where goalies were going for 2 6ths and a 6th and a 7th and a good forward or a defenseman or what have you, not even a throwaway player, you know. But again, I'm comparing it to last year, right?
I think Nick did this on purpose. He's like, fuck you, Travis. I'll show you what you can do with a 6th and a 9th. I'll get a starting goalie.
Yeah, it does look like a familiar trade, doesn't
But
But
I thought
he got
being
great
a starting
value out of
goalie,
that
he's a
trade, though.
rental. He's gonna be a rental all year. He's not keeping Bobrovsky, right?
No.
He has too many top tier forwards and Vass. Like he can go in, pick up any goalies any year in the draft and be like, okay, I have them working with Vass. I'll be good, right? So he's got an advantage. He's not going to keep Bobrovsky. So what are you going to spend your 6 on? If you're going to spend it on a goalie, because that's where you get that value back, right?
Yeah.
So I like the deal for Shaft. I like it for Kyle's plan. So it helps him be worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good deal for both. Both will be pleased with that transaction.
Going with the tank. Yep.
Here we go. This is the other Hartman, the Hartman flip. Homer Simpson, desperate to get his team on track, went out and picked up Patrick Kane, a 17th and 18th for Hartman, a 7th and an 8th over to Saucier Pass here. What do you think of this trade?
I think Corey did really well. I like Patrick Kane as a player, but again, he's one of those one-dimensional players that gets up, you know, he gets a lot of points. His plus minus probably won't be so good in Chicago. They're surprising right now, but I think eventually things will come back down to earth a little bit there. And not sure if they're going to be as bad as they expect to be, but I don't think they're going to be as good as they have been. You know, again, one-dimensional player, but he will put up a lot of power play points.
He's going to get traded to a contender, right?
Yep, that's true.
So this is a late
always that
season
angle.
move, right?
Yep, yep, absolutely. So, and that's all contingent on when he gets moved as well, right? So,
when I hear the Rangers and Avalanche are interested, so like if he goes to either of those teams, then this looks like a great trade for him. And for Corey, though, Corey got great value back, I think.
I think so. I think Hartman was the key there. You know what I mean? Like a 7th and 8th for Patrick Kane. It's definitely not awful. But at the end of the day, Hartman coming back is really huge for Corey. And then I believe this first game that he had for him, he had quite the game.
I think it's there's gonna be something key here. He moves his 17th and 18th in this deal.
Mm-hmm.
This next deal that we're talking about, he moves his 15th and 16th. So already, you know, he made 2 big moves, and his worst pick is a 14th right now, and that's if he hadn't already moved it. Right,
he moved it to me. I picked up Jones from him. We swapped 13th and 14th. So his latest pick is a 13th.
Yeah, and he's set. He has all those assets now that he can move and still be good in the draft, right? So I like the moves. It was bold to be like, I'm going to move 2 top tier players today and get the return he did. So let's talk about that one here where he moved Crosby. Was it Crosby? Where is it? Yeah. Crosby, 15th and a 16th to Clefbaum for Jones, a 7th and an 8th. So why don't you tell me about this one?
I think this is a fair deal. Reason being is Crosby's definitely worth a 7th and an 8th. I would argue that Kane is not worth a 7th and an 8th, just due to the one-dimensional aspect. Crosby kind of does it all, right? So, and of course, I like the deal. I think it's a fair deal on both ends. I feel both guys got value out of it. You know, Corey has a plan, you know, and I think he actually plans to contend. So those picks that he has,
he's going to move them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's going to improve his team. So it's going to be pretty scary to see his team when he's all finished, because he's loaded with high picks now. So
I'm glad he has a plan, because lately, you know, I'm starting to think maybe he's directionless here. Like,
well, you know,
he put a plan into place there, and it's working. I can't wait to see what the final look is, right?
Yeah. It's tough because it's the beginning of the year, right? There was a lot of movements with the trades, and then now it's kind of slowed down a little bit. You know what I mean? It hasn't been as fast and furious as it was. And I think guys are just feeling out their teams now, right? Just taking a look, seeing what they have. You know what I mean? If if it's prudent to trade someone, make it happen. Obviously, in Kyle's case, sell everybody.
That's how we roll.
I didn't know that, so maybe I'll hit him up on something. You never
Good.
know.
Prices
Never
are
know.
high, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. Well,
You seem to
we'll
back
see.
off on some of the prices from what I heard, so it's good. That's how you
Good.
move things. Well, here's the deal you want to talk about. Martin Jones. I don't know if this is all you want to talk about, but Martin Jones and a 14th going your way for Elliott, and a 13th to Corey. So tell me about this move.
So Jones was starting that day. Corey was planning on dropping him anyways, but I figured I could use the start. And with Grubauer on the IR, I'm thinking, oh, I'll be able to get a few starts from him. And then now they put him on IR. I think he went away on family leave, but now he's on IR. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening there. So, but yeah, it was just a small minor trade.
It barely
13th and
costs you
14th.
anything, right?
That's no big
What is
deal. It's
that?
a one pick difference, right? The 14th is my lowest pick, so not a big deal.
Yeah, that's it, right? So you're in a good spot. He's in a good spot after these draft picks. You guys are both gonna build something. We'll see what the final product looks like. Who's your daddy? Matching up with Homer Simpson here. Who's your daddy getting Thomas and a 13th in exchange for my 9th? What do you think of this?
Thomas for a 9th. That's pretty decent value. He did get quite a few points last year. The underlying numbers are a little less than desirable. He's more
Especially
of a
this
point.
year.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a points guy. So if you're after the points, great. 9th, maybe a little high, in my opinion. I probably would have paid maybe an 11th for him. But I'm also cheap too. So, so maybe a 10th or 11th, something like that. So it's, it's not crazy out of line, but, if Hughes, your daddy, was going for Thomas, then, a 9th isn't a huge price to pay, especially if he's, playing on a good St. Louis team, he's going to get the minutes.
He did well for me last year, and I got him on waivers. So.
Wow.
He was just sitting on the wire. Okay, I'll pick him up. But
there was a lot of guys like that last year. A lot of
I picked up Kadri and traded him to you.
Yeah, that
off the waiver wire, picked him up.
Yeah, but even guys like Sean Dursey, like these guys just came out of nowhere. Matt Roy out of
it's all the
LA
younger
as well.
guys, right? Start to really find their groove, and then the veterans you're used to relying on, you're like, oh, this one looks better and it's newer. Let me grab that one.
Exactly, right. Let's see what this guy's made of, right? And then a week later, you're like, oh, why did I let that guy go?
Yeah, but you make those decisions. Sometimes you need to make that pickup to compete, and you got to sacrifice someone. That's all it is, right? You don't know. It's a gamble, but you make your best judgment at the time. One last deal here. Paulie the goalie. Not usually this active at this time of year when it comes to trades. He picked up Mario Ferraro and an 11th from Suck My Ojic for Provorov and a 14th. What do you think of this one?
I think Neil won that trade. Provorov, in my opinion, right now, the way he's playing, I'm just looking at his stats, not his rank, but he's always been a solid defenseman, usually gets those solid hits and blocks, eats a lot of minutes in Philly. He was okay last year. I had him on my team for a little bit. But the way he's playing right now and under Torts, he's been amazing. So the fact that Neil was able to get an 11th for him, I think that was a little bit of a steal, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. Like, we'll see if he's consistent. He's not usually consistent. If he can hold it, yeah. But Ferraro is really good at the grinder stats too, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not a fair value. I'd say probably three round difference at the most, but good on him again for at least he's only moving an 11th for him. He's putting up really good numbers. If he holds that pace, yeah, it could be a real steal. But again, Ferraro is good in his own on his own right.
Yep.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he does have those underlying stats as well, right? So, but still, you know, Provorov's he's a minute muncher. You know what I mean? He's gonna eat a lot of minutes in Philly, right?
And I'm definitely all right with Sean getting worse.
Yeah. And Ferraro's on a bad team too, right? So there's the plus minus to, well, I guess Provorov is on a bad team, but not right now, right? So we'll see how Philly plays out. So I'm not sure how the edge would go plus minus wise. Right now, obviously it goes to Philly, but you know, things can change in a hurry, right? It's only 10 games.
Yeah. All right. The fun part. I'm going to hear Dan's opinions here on these matchups. It's just nice to hear someone that's not Corey or myself. And, you know, guys, open invitation still. Reach out to me if you want to be on the show. We can have all kinds of people in here. We're going to talk about this first matchup. Team Ramrod sitting at 3-0 against Paulie the goalie sitting at 1-2. Who you got here?
Sec, buddy. I'm just opening it up on my side.
No worries.
Well, you know, it's tough to go against you, bud, when you have Matthews, McDavid, and company. You've added Trouba to the mix. Yeah, you've added Trouba to the mix. You've had your solid goaltending for a while. So I think you've had Kemper and Anderson since last year, right?
Yeah.
So
they're two of my keepers.
Yeah, absolutely right. So he also has Hellebuck, but I still give the edge to you in goaltending. Just looking at, I'm not supposed to look at the stats for the week, right? Just supposed to look at your rosters.
Look at our rosters, you know.
Yeah.
Try and give an unbiased opinion based on what you see on the board here. Like,
Yep. Yeah, you're beating him in assists by 5 already, and it's only Wednesday. But again, things can change, right? You guys are close in your shots on goal.
There's a lot that's close.
Your goalie stats both your goalie stats are fantastic. Like he's got a 971 save percentage.
Wow. Only one game. That's why.
Okay. All right. So,
but that's really good. That's a good start.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm going to call a close matchup. I'm going to say 7-6 Team Ramrod.
I like that. Sean and I have a little rivalry here. Make a little personal bet. And the usual bet is on. So when I defeat Sean this week, next week he will be known as Shane's bitch. It's going to be great. So I can't wait to see it. Sean going to be sitting at 1-3. You know, that's the stuff I love about fantasy hockey. This guy's notorious for having long winning streaks in the regular season. This year he's struggling. His usual tactics aren't working. Squirming a little bit. He's already making deals. We're only like 4 weeks in here. Sean, it's not your year.
There's a lot of smack talk there, my friend.
Oh, there is. I love it. That's when I'm at my best.
So what happens if he wins?
Then my name's gonna be Sean's bitch.
Okay, fair enough.
If he wins, come on. Like,
hey, anything can happen any week.
That's hurtful. But I'm going to pick Team Ramrod. I don't think I need to really clarify that, but
you will always pick Team Ramrod. I know that.
That's it. Always. This is
you go against yourself, right?
I can have no one on my team. I'm winning. Fuck that. Homer Simpson sitting at 1-2. Going against Clefbaum, also sitting at 1-2. Who do you got here?
You know, I like Trav's team. I really do. You know, Demko's on a really shitty Vancouver team. I expect his numbers to get better this week. I'm not sure who Vancouver's playing this week. And he's got Bennington as well, right? Like he's got solid goaltending. You got Reimer in San Jose. Sometimes he puts up some really good games. On the other side, you have Stalock, who's day-to-day, Vladar and Markstrom and Murray, who's on the IR. Yeah, I'm going to give the edge to Trav here. He's got the goaltending. He's got the backing of the goaltending, and he has the talent too. You know, it's only a matter of time before Timo Meyer really starts to go off. He's had a pretty quiet season up until
Started
I think.
last night.
Yeah, it started last night,
2
right?
goals last night. He's heating up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was funny because Trav was talking to me about it, and he said, he's complaining about Meyer. I'm like, well, hey, listen, if he's available,
Yeah, you got to kick those tires, right? If there's a guy that interested, you got to kick the tires at least.
That's it, right? But he's picked in the 6th, right? So Travis is well invested in that guy, and I don't blame him because I think eventually he will turn it around.
He puts up everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Travis as well. Just because, his goalie situation not helping him, but I think his roster is a little better than Kyle's. That's all I'll say. Travis, a little better. You haven't proven yourself yet to be the fantasy hockey god that you keep claiming to be here. He always comes out of the draft on the greatest team, and then he struggles a bit. Kind of makes me smile, but it's not to take away from Kyle's team though. Kyle, his Golden Knights are going off.
Yep. Eichel's been awesome.
Crosby's been himself. Yep. So absolutely. He has a good team. He has a lot of great assets, and I think he'll compete for a playoff spot this year. But I think this week I'm gonna give it to Travis.
Yeah, I think Markstrom and some waiver wire ads or what have you for the week, I don't think are going to cut it for his goaltending. Yeah, so I would definitely give the edge to Trav for sure.
Bennington's been bad too, though, so who knows? Goalies can go either way.
Oh yeah, Bennington. I tease him about Bennington all the time because either he's hurt or he shits the bed, and he just tells me to shut up all the time. Shut up, Dan. Sorry, man. That's just my feeling on him, and it's tough because he is a good goalie. Like when he's on, he's on. There's no doubt he has talent, but it's like Bobrovsky. You never know what you're gonna get. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
The Jagger Bombs sitting at 2-0-1. Playing against the 0-3 Cherry Pickin' Daddy. Who do you got here?
Oh, we got Kyle and Braden. Yeah, Kyle's goaltending is a little less than desirable right now. Forsberg didn't have the greatest game. Braden's got a solid team. I'm actually really impressed with Braden's team this year. He's got guys like Marchment and Bennett and Kadri and guys that'll get those underlying stats, right? Sprinkle in Nick Suzuki and Dubois, who's also like a beast in those type of stats. He's got the goaltending, but with Ottinger out, that's going to be a little tougher for him, especially how Campbell's been. So I'm going to say it's going to be close, but I think I'm actually going to give the edge to Kyle. I think I'll give the edge to Kyle.
I think you believe in his team more than he does.
Yeah, but he's got a good team. Braden's got a great team as well, but with the goaltending, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how Wedgwood's going to do. That's going to be pretty dicey. Dallas is a good team. So as long as Dallas holds the fort, then I think, Braden's going to be right in it. But I think this is going to be a close matchup. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Well, it looks close right now. I'm going to go with Braden. I never had more faith in Braden's team than I do this year.
Yeah, he's got a great team.
Probably the best roster I've seen him have. He really took to heart that he has to have that Caucasaurus. Braden, if you're watching this, we want you to change your team logo to the Caucasaurus. That's only fair.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. He was a great sport about it.
He's a great sport about it.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
He does not want it this year. He's working on helping Kyle get it. After all, Kyle did buy it.
Yep.
Defending champion. 7 on the ice at 2-1, taking on Y'all Try the Beef, who's 1-2. Who do you have here?
I got to go with the champ. I like his team from top to bottom. He's got talent sprinkled with those guys that do it all. Daltrey's also, he's got a decent team as well. His goaltending, again, you're looking at Saros. They're having a tough go in Nashville. So if they keep that up, and you've got Montreal that's, a little dicey, and they're usually losing more than they're winning. I'd give the edge to goaltending for sure for Mark, and overall the teams, I like Mark's. So yeah, I call Mark, and I think, yeah, I think it'll probably be more of a differential than it is now, but yeah, I'm calling Mark in this one.
I'm going to go against you, and I'm going to say Daltrey. McKinnon only has 2 games this week, but they are both against Columbus, and we know how they're playing defensively right now. So I think McKinnon's going to go off and just single-handedly keep Daltrey in the week.
Perhaps.
Plus his other production, right? So I'm going to go with you, Daltrey. Don't let me down like you do at bowling. That's going to hurt him bad. I'm sorry, buddy. You're beautiful. We have the whole shaft here taking on you. Whole shaft's in at 2-1. You're sitting at 1-2. Now tell me why you think you're going to win.
Oh, buddy. I'm definitely not going to win this week.
Oh, no faith.
No, I don't think so. My team's been kind of shit in the bed. So it's one of those situations where, you have a choice of goalies to play. So last night I ended up picking Peterson instead of Blackwood, and that hurt me immensely. Peterson led in 4 goals, and Blackwood also got the win. So little tough to take. My core players, my keepers have been good. And I've been kind of making some moves. I'm making some moves, right? So I just picked up Montour. I just picked up McCabe. There's a few guys I'm just kind of taking a wait and see approach on, right? So I'm really not sure how they're going to perform. So just that unknown, and just looking through Nick's team, like he's got a very solid team. Braden Point, Matty Beniers, like I had him last year. He was practically, last year as a rookie, he was like a point per game guy.
Yeah, 9 points in 10 games. Like,
you got
that's awesome.
Draisaitl, you got Foligno that does it all. He's hurt right now. You look at his lineup from top to bottom, you cannot argue with his team. It's great. Hyman, Eriksson Ek, those guys get those underlying stats again. I'm all about the underlying stats, and
you need those to win. You can win with those, right? So
you really do. Guys that play on the power play, play on the penalty kill. It's absolutely huge. But yeah, unfortunately I have to go against myself this week. I'm going to call Nick in a landslide here. I don't think my guys are going to be able to pull it together. I do have Patches still on the IR. And I also have Ehlers that's on the IR. He's been on the IR for the last 2 weeks, right? So that's a spot I'm losing right there. Hurts a little bit, right? So
but you gotta hold on to him anyway. He's not the kind of player you throw back in.
No, exactly, right? So I just gotta kind of play it out. So I just think with that, I think Nick's got it in a landslide.
I'm going to agree that Nick is going to take this. I like Nick's team. I like Nick's team a lot. I always try and bug him for Draisaitl because I would love to pair him up with McDavid. Sorry. And
oh yeah,
it's always there's no deal that he would ever take. I always bug him though.
Kane's not too shabby either, right?
No. He's not. He's playing really well, right? So he's gold. That's a great keep by Nick, right? Nick O'Brien, who we're going to speak about now. It's sitting at 3-0. Patrick Rumble here taking on Suck My Ojic, Neil, who's sitting at 1-1-1 record. These are 2 big teams going at it. This is going to be a real test for Nick, I think. And what do you think is going to happen here?
I think it's going to be close. Both guys have solid teams. Nick has a plethora of goalies to choose from night to night, right? So, but again, you look at Neil's side, and he has some solid goaltending there with Shesterkin, Sorokin, and Skinner now. That's really surprising, right? I would be expecting Skinner to probably get maybe every other start in Edmonton if
that's what it feels like right now.
Especially if Campbell's continuing to let in, what is it, 4 goals last night? So, I think it's going to be a close matchup. You know what? I'm going to call a tie.
Oh,
I'm going to call
great.
a tie. Yep.
I'm gonna go with Neil. I think his guys are heating up, and it's nothing against Patch's team. I think Patch has a great team. I think this is his biggest challenge of the season right now. And Neil has the goaltending with Shesterkin and Sorokin. But he also has guys who can run and gun, right? He's got Panera and he's got Pasternak. Like those guys are gonna put up numbers, and he already has yes, Patches has some good goalies, but Neil has better goalies. And I think that's what's gonna kind of sneak him through the week. It's gonna be a really close matchup though. I don't think it's gonna end 10-3. I think it's gonna be a lot closer, 1 or 2 point difference. It's gonna be like close. But I think
Wasn't
Neil's gonna pull it out.
wasn't Neil's team another one? He didn't get picks until the later rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has that core keepers, right?
Yeah. But even still, you look at the guys that he sprinkled in there, they're no slouches,
Oh yeah.
Like
He's
I
made
sold him
some deals.
Reinhardt. And Reinhardt hasn't really been living up to expectation right now, but there's always a chance he's going to turn it around. It's only 10 games in, right? You know what I mean? He is a skilled guy, and I don't think last year was a fluke by any means. So, once he gets going, Neil's going to he already has a scary team. So, he's done really well. But yeah, again, I still maintain a tie, my friend.
These are two contenders, though. I will say that.
Yeah,
I think Neil's
I agree.
This one, I'm interested to see how this goes. Derek, who's been on fire, the Red Wings at 2-1, taking on who's your daddy, Casey at 2-1. Who you got here?
Just looking at these teams. So Casey's team is patchwork goaltending. You got Aiden Hill and Thomas Grice, both backups. Mrazek's on the IR, so he's going to be basically, I don't know if he's going to be flipping between these two guys or going on the waiver wire and picking somebody up.
Probably that.
Yeah, but you got a strong Boston team, and with Derek having Swayman and Allmark there getting the starts, even if they give Swayman a start, then
Swayman got hurt last night, I believe, against the Islanders.
He did, eh?
Yeah, he got hurt. So
okay.
he left the game, or he got run over at least. He got run over by, I think it was Zika's.
Okay. Well, even still, Allmark's been getting a lot of the starts, right? So I'm sure he'll be able to shoulder the load.
Well, he's gonna get all the Boston starts either way.
Yeah, for sure. Both guys have solid teams. Casey has a young team, but again, the goaltending, it's just not matching up to Derek's. So I'm calling Derek in this one.
I'm gonna agree. I don't think Casey has the goaltending yet to compete. And I think that's going to be free points for his opponents almost every week. So Derek has some good offense too, or he's going to put up a fight. I think in the end, he's going to win it.
Yeah. I think if Casey had more higher end guys in his lineup, that could probably make up for the goaltending deficiencies a little bit in the stat categories. But
he doesn't have those guys.
He's got some pretty young guys, and Dylan Cousins and Mason McTavish. You know what I mean? All young guys that, they're going to put up some stats, but they're not going to be on the level as some of the others, right? But sometimes
he has the luxury of waiting to see if someone breaks out, right? Because he's in a rebuild. Like if any of them break out, then they could be good keeper players, right? So
there's nothing wrong with that strategy whatsoever, right? My teams are traditionally young as well, right? Because I always go off the potential. If they're already a good player and they're only 21, 22 years old, what are they going to be like at 24 or 25, especially if they're a keeper, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. But no, I definitely give the edge to Derek here for sure.
Sauce Pass in at 1-1-1, taking on Captain Crunch at 1-2. Who do you got here?
I'm going to go with Corey. Reason being, I do like his goaltending with Hart right now, with how Philly's playing. Gibson is bound to turn it around sometime here. I know Anaheim they're a tough team to watch. They're actually a really exciting team to watch. It's just they're usually on the losing end the majority of the time, right? So, And you got the captain here with his team. Again, patchwork goaltending. We discussed Vejmelka earlier on. So that could be a wash in the goalie stat categories. But overall, I like Corey's roster better. He has more higher end players. And he has guys that even have the potential to break out, like Lafreniere. Sergachev has been having a very solid season as well, right? He's got Doughty still. Hurdle, he pitches in with hits and points, and he's got Wheeler, and he just picked up Byram. Byram's an interesting one. I think he has the potential to be like a top pairing defenseman. Obviously, he's not there yet. And he's playing right behind Taves, though, right? So Taves went down for a few games. Byram filled in. He actually did admirably well, right? So that's going to be an interesting watch over the next few weeks to see how Byram does, because now that Taves is back, Byram's minutes have gone back down to what they normally are.
Yeah, he's not moving back down the lineup.
Yeah, he's not getting top pairing minutes with Makar anymore, right? When Taves was out, right? So that makes a big difference too, right? But I'm going to go with Corey over Big Daltrey.
I'm going to also say Corey. I just like his team better than Big Daltrey's. If you're listening, Daltrey Senior here, fix your team. Go make some trades. I know you love making trades. Go plug those holes and become the competitor you were a couple of years ago.
Okay,
best days are behind you.
Okay, I'm going to defend him right now because him and I made a trade just, I believe, a little over a week and a half ago or something like that. And I ended up sending Nugent Hopkins for Kuznetsov. And as soon as I sent Nugent Hopkins over, he went right off. At one point, he was ranked 5. And Kuznetsov had no points in like 3 games, hadn't done practically anything. Because at first I thought, is this deal too good to be
true? Playing with McDavid now, that's why. He's playing on a line with McDavid and Hyman. So,
but even still, when I was checking out the daily face-off there, even when they had him on the third line, he's playing on the top power play, and he's playing on the first penalty kill. So he's getting lots of minutes. And of course they have lots of depth there, right? So, with Nuge sprinkled in there, it's amazing. And how he's doing, playing on the top line is just fantastic. Good on him, though. Good on him. Kind of wish I had that one back now.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have. As again, I'm too cheap. I have a minute left in this free chat. But Dan, I want to thank you for being on the show. It was a pleasure seeing the face behind the name that I've chatted with hockey with for many hours over the last year since you joined the league.
Many good conversations.
Good conversations, right? So again, since it was the first time we actually get to talk, welcome to the league. It's nice to see you on the show. Hope you'll do it again.
Oh, absolutely, man. This was really fun. Thanks for having me.
I encourage everyone to volunteer. Good luck, everyone, this week. Except for you, Sean. Go fuck yourself.